If you follow both of our channels, you will have known that I was just on Roll With Us, going over a character that we built rather quickly for DC20. And you know what, now that I'm saying that, we weren't actually live because Gary doesn't have his thing set up properly. So ignore that statement. Maybe that'll go up at some point if Gary deems it worthy. But now I am down to an hour before dinner. So I have 0 time. But my goal is to wipe down these pieces that I've already thrown, get them over to a side area. Oh, flat space. Okay. Get them over to a side area that Gary has taken yarn bowls from. Oh, actually, no, I can't reach that right now. Okay. And then quickly throw 6 more of these. So I really have to get these dry. So I need to, at the minimum, get 12 of these done a day. So that I can get my other kilns running and whatnot with them in it. So all of these sharp little edges here, I just want to get off. You know what? Let's... So these are just cookies. These aren't actually plates. So none of these need to be perfect. These are what is going to go underneath the yarn bowls in the kiln, so that if my glaze runs, doesn't get onto the kiln shelf, just onto these cookies. Now you can reuse these cookies as many times as you want to, and eventually, if they get too glaze covered, you can throw them out, or you can grind them down. I'll probably just throw them out. But, okay. Yeah, Gary cleaned up down here for me, brought all of my yarn bowls that have been hanging out, waiting to go into a bisque kiln upstairs. So I have so much room down here now, which is absolutely phenomenal. Actually, let us... And then once I finish Once I finish cleaning off these, then I just need to take the 6 that I did this morning off of their bats and just put them on a board. But again, I have boards now because Gary came through and cleaned off all my boards. Sorry guys, I get very excited over flat space. We don't usually have... We always have a problem with flat space. We've never had a problem to this extent. And it's because I threw such large pieces in throwing the yarn bowls. And I'm down to a point now where I can have the dehumidifier on all the time again. Actually, you know what? I say that. Probably going to turn it off again tonight because I do have a board of reclaim out. But it's been on all day, and that's been wonderful. But yeah, I can't get to the reclaim tonight because I joined Gary's DC20 game tonight. So I don't have time to get that reclaim done. So... So once I have about 36 of these made, I will run a bisque kiln with all of these, with the rest of the yarn bowls, and whatever trees we have that also need to be bisqued. And then the kiln the day after that will be the first kiln of the glazed yarn bowls. I am going to start with when I start painting, I'm going to start with the ones that I really like the marbling on, with the different colored clays. I'm going to start with those and go from there. I'm also going to leave one shelf, or not one shelf, but like one of these in the kiln just for my test tiles, because I want to get the rest of my test tiles through the kiln. And I also want to do a video on the test tiles, and I think Why did I put that over there? I don't know why I put that over there. Put that right here, just as well, and I can reach it. This is what happens when you're in a hurry. Okay. Yeah, definitely going to turn off the dehumidifier tonight because I'm concerned about that drying out too much. It's okay. That means that tomorrow morning I can reclaim all of that. I am glad that I did the extra large tree earlier today. Because I can get that in the kiln tonight. And I may actually also be able to get the large fir in the kiln. I don't think I'm going to have time to paint any of the smalls and mediums that I had also wanted to get in the kiln with these. But it's okay. We don't need them right now, even though I would like to get them done and boxed and just kind of free up space and whatnot and have some extras for some future orders. But unfortunately, I don't think that's happening today. That was totally my fault.
Oh, don't worry. I won't blame you.
Welcome aboard. Because I signed up for the game tonight, I effectively lost like 4 hours of work. So I'm trying to figure out what I can get done realistically. In the next 45 minutes before I have to head up.
Here's a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever tried, apparently it's a thing, peanuts in soda?
I have not. Nope. And actually, are boiled peanuts a thing where you live?
Yes, my wife enjoys them. I don't. I will eat them, but it's one of those where it's like I have to be in the right mood because the texture of a boiled peanut is different to me.
He's wrong. So wrong. I actually just had them for the first time this year when we were on vacation. The entire way down, Dad's just like, we got to get boiled peanuts. We got to stop somewhere. I'm like, okay, all right. So we stopped and we tried boiled peanuts, and none of us in the car liked them. And at the next stop, pretty much the entire container minus like 6 peanuts got thrown out. So, yeah. Good on you.
Yeah, like I said, I don't mind them. I just have to be in the right mood.
That's fair. But so I'm wondering if they're similar to that with like that icky soft texture.
I don't know. I mean, I assume that the concept is meant to play off of the salty sweet combo.
Okay.
In
And
which, I mean, I think offhand that's the only reason why I'm like, I might try this at some point.
okay, and I was thinking that the acid of the soda would like break down the peanut to like make it soft.
You know, that is also probably true, but I don't know. I know someone who would though.
Okay.
I'll ask her and see what she says.
Okay. Get this board up.
I sent her a message now to see if she replies.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I find it hilarious. I'm seeing an advertisement for maple syrup, but they're calling it tree juice.
Okay. Is it maple or is it um
Yeah, apparently it's all natural maple syrup made in New York.
okay. Because there's the other tree that they also do. It's not as thick as maple syrup. I can't remember which one they do now.
I want to say sorghum.
No.
I mean, that's similar to maple syrup. Although I will say, my tastes have changed when I was younger, because when I was younger, I loved it. Nowadays, I tried it and my brain likened it to maple syrup mixed with soy sauce, of all things.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this does not taste like I remember it being,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care for it anymore.
That's fair. We were at one of our shows, and they were selling all different types of syrups, and I had gotten Gary a not maple syrup.
Mm.
But yeah, it was much thinner.
Let's see. According to this, you can. There is such a thing as agave syrup.
No. This is like local.
Okay, because I'm looking at a thing and they've got 35 kinds of syrup that aren't maple. Here's a
Okay.
list. Yeah, yeah. The list they give is something called acetomal. I'm not sure. Uh, it's made. Oh, it's made from honey and vinegar. Clever. They have agave syrup. They have something called attar syrup, which is a Middle Eastern thing.
Nope. This is an Ohio tree.
Uh, let's see. There's a cider syrup. There's obviously corn syrup,
No.
date honey. There's fruit syrups. There's of course glucose syrup. I love how they have no idea how to describe grenadine. It just says a commonly used non-alcoholic bar syrup characterized by a flavor that is both tart and sweet. What they fail to mention is that's made via pomegranate,
Yeah, but most people associate it with cherry.
which is ironic, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, there's palm syrup, which comes from
No.
South America. I don't see one. They don't mention one specifically from Ohio.
Well, that's fair. Um, wouldn't be oak. Wouldn't be. Wouldn't be walnut. Wouldn't be. Obviously, it's not maple.
I mean, apparently, Ohio does do local maple syrup.
Yeah. Well, so I had gotten him two different kinds of maple syrup. One was like a spicy one, and one was like their generic one. And then I got him this other one.
Hmm.
Um, but he ate it all, so I can't even like go to the fridge and check. Although I did buy it like 2 years ago, so I just remember it not being as thick as maple. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember the part of Ohio by chance?
Um, I bought it when we were in Cleveland, but I don't know where the person was. Oh shit! Where the person was from that made it.
Sugar Bush Creek Farm. That does maple. Now you got me really curious. I'm going all over the internet trying to find this thing.
We have to convince Gary through psychic teleportation, apparently was the word I was going for, that he has to join the chat.
Right. They do mention an elderberry syrup.
It wasn't a berry, it was just tree sap. Alexa, how many tree sap syrups are there? Okay. Alexa, what tree saps can you get syrup from in North America? That was unhelpful.
Apparently, there are 22.
Okay.
There are sugar maple, black maple, red maple, silver maple, Norway maple, box elder, big leaf maple, canyon maple, Rocky Mountain maple, go I'm gonna butcher this name. Goroso. There's a butternut, aka white walnut. There is black walnut. There is heart nut. There is English walnut. There is paper birch, yellow birch, black birch, river birch, gray birch, European white birch, sycamore, ironwood.
Sycamore!
There we go.
Sorry.
It apparently has a butterscotch flavor.
Okay. That's it. I think they had birch, and I think they had the birch one too. That sounded familiar when you said it, but yeah, nope, sycamore.
Yeah. I can be a bit stubborn at times when I'm trying to find something. It's like, nope, I'm going to find this. And especially if it's to help somebody else.
Yeah, and like I said, it was fine. It just it was a little bit more watery than normal maple syrup.
Which, I mean, given that it's coming from a sycamore tree, that makes a little sense. Because they tend to be they're a different style of tree.
Yeah. Yeah, they were good.
So I don't know if you saw it, but I posted it in the regular channel. Kenneth Colley passed away.
I don't know who that is.
Oh right. Surely you've seen the original 3 Star Wars movies, right?
Yeah.
He played Admiral Piet. He was one of the Imperials that Vader force choked as a quote unquote punishment.
Okay.
And I say punishment in air quotes because that's a little extreme.
Yeah. I'm thinking all I'm going to accomplish before I go up is getting these 6 cookies thrown, but that is okay. After dinner, I can put together that extra large tree, and then we can sign up for the games for Paige. Because Gary wants to get into a game that is run by one of the original creators of D&D. I think his name is like Zeb something. I don't know. So Paige has a lot of original creators there.
Mm-hmm.
So they Gary's excited to be able to play in a game that they created and that they're running at Paige.
Do they have a Krispy Kreme or a White Castle where you are?
White Castle is East Jersey. That's really far away. Krispy Kreme, there's one in Scranton about 45 minutes from us.
Because apparently they do free stuff tomorrow if you wear red, white, and blue.
Oh, okay. I'm weird. I refuse to participate in any of those things because I don't want to deal with crowds.
I mean, okay, that's fair.
So like when Dairy Queen does their like free ice cream days, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll specifically stay away from them today. Got it, got it.
Mm. Where ironically, my wife has rubbed off on me to where I'm like, any deals I can get, I attempt to.
Yeah.
Like, for example, nowadays we go shopping for clothes at thrift stores rather than
Okay,
going to even Walmart.
cool.
Or if we go to Walmart, we check the clearance section.
Yep. I I never actually leave my house. So currently I'm wearing a t-shirt from PAX East from 2013. It's probably got like 3 or 4 holes in it.
I mean, that's fair. I've got a shirt that I still wear from time to time, and I'm actually more amused that it fits, from 2001.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like I wear nicer clothes when I leave the house, but like I leave the house once a week to go food shopping, and that's it.
Sure. Yeah, that's pretty much how I am nowadays. Granted, we did just move the car seat into my car from Jean's car, so technically I could take Lily with me nowadays,
Yeah, there you go.
rather than waiting until Jean is here to watch Lily while I go places.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, yeah. Yeah, and I've known parents 2 different ways of like just because I had kids doesn't mean I'm gonna stop going places. And no, I have kids now, I can't leave the house.
I'm currently in the latter state, but I will get to the former state.
Okay. What will
I
what will
yeah,
make you
I
get there?
once let's put it this way. Once I don't have to be dependent on carrying them everywhere.
Okay. Do you have a stroller that like your thingy locks into? Your car seat locks into?
Yes, I do, which is actually um ironically I meant to use it yesterday at the funeral, but our thought process at the time was I think I just startled the hell out of my wife. Um I sent her a message, not important what was said. She comes back, "Hey,
Wibbly, don't like it. Okay.
but yeah, no. Long story short, where we ended up parking was close enough to the place where we were going where it was just like, screw it. We don't need the stroller and we can't take it into the church anyway.
Okay. I forget that people have funerals in churches. We don't really do that out here.
Oh?
Ours are done at funeral homes.
Okay, that's fair. Like with my mother's funeral. It was done at the well, we did two. We did one for friends and family at my dad's house. And then and then we did one at the cemetery, which oh boy, that turned out to be an interesting day.
Oh yeah, that's the burial. I consider that different than like the funeral. I guess I shouldn't.
Well, no, we had a funeral there, but it was that one was meant for anyone who wants to show up.
Okay. And we do like the funeral home thing, which is for like everyone. And then we do like the burial, which is like smaller. It's like friends and family, but it's like it's typically like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah. Well, what was interesting was when we got to the gravesite, apparently somebody had messed up. I don't know when, who, or how, but somebody else had been buried in her spot.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And so we ended up literally having to call City Hall, have them come out to the gravesite, dig up the guy that was buried there, and put him where he was supposed to be. And the irony, in my opinion, is I guarantee if Mom had been alive and that had happened, she would have been the one marching down to City Hall in person rather than calling them. Because it's like, no, this does not happen.
Yeah, Gary wants to be buried. And I'm just like, I don't know. Light a fire under my ass, toss me somewhere. I'll be fine.
I want to be cremated, assuming I die before the rapture happens. For two reasons. One, it's cheaper, which is less burden on those that survive me. And here's where the comedian in me comes in. That's my chance at a smoking hot body. Haha.
Okay.
Sad part is I can't claim credit for that joke. I saw that online. But I thought it was clever.
Yeah, I'm good with it just tossing me somewhere. I don't know. Toss me under a tree. Plant me somewhere. Toss me in the ocean. Let me go wherever the tide takes me. I'm easy.
Right?
Be dead. I won't care.
If I was going to be sprinkled offhand, I don't know where I would want to be. Probably, I mean, offhand, if I had to choose somewhere here in the States, I'd say up at our old lake house.
That's fair.
I don't know if we would be able to get away with that quote unquote legally because we don't own the property anymore, but I suppose one could always ask.
Or one could always just trespass. I'm not advocating trespassing. I mean, I sort of am. But, you know.
Talk about walk the line.
All right, one done. Wibble, 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 wibble.
What to do when you want to be brutally honest, but you're worried that being brutally honest will dig you in a deeper hole?
Be brutally honest anyway. Sorry, I'm not always nice to people.
Mm. It depends on to whom I'm being brutally honest nowadays. I do have. I am still at heart an empath. So it's one of those where it's like, yeah.
No. I was always taught don't say anything. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But here's the thing. If it's nicer to tell someone the truth, then tell them the truth. And if it's not nicer to tell them the truth, then just don't say anything at all.
To which my argument comes back to define nice. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from my wife's side of the family, sometimes being blunt or being, shall we say, too truthful can come across as not nice.
I mean, there's definitely a way of telling people things, but like,
Sure. Like, my wife has no problem telling me that I'm fat.
okay. But there's you're fat, and then there's I'm concerned about your health. Can
Which
we
that I
talk
would
about
understand,
losing some weight?
because I am. But, yeah.
Like, there's many different ways of discussing things. And not even like this isn't really an honesty thing. This was just more of a, there are ways of doing things and ways of not doing things.
Right?
Um we were on the cruise ship and a guy had one of those sizing plastic strips on the back of his pants, like, when they're folded on a shelf and they tell you the size.
Yeah, yeah.
He had one of those stuck to the back of his pants.
Oh, dear.
And I looked at him and I'm like, I'm totally not trying to be fresh right now. But hang on. And I went to like grab the sticker and he tried to like, keep turning with me and I'm like, no, stop. I swear I'm not trying to be fresh. Just hang on. So I yanked the sticker off and I gave it to him. And he starts laughing. He's just like, my wife would be so proud of you right now.
I'm more amused by the fact that you did it yourself, because my brain I would have been the guy that would have been like, excuse me, sir, you've got something on your leg.
Okay, but it wasn't in a place where like it was straight down the back of his thigh.
Oh.
So it wasn't like an easy place for him to just like see and
That's
grab
fair.
off.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I swear I'm not being fresh with you right now. Just hey, 1 second.
Been a while since I've heard the term being fresh. Or, well, at least in that context. When my wife uses it, it means we've just gotten out of the shower and we're clean.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time she used that with me, I was like, wait, what? Because she comes out of the bathroom, she's like, I'm all fresh now. I'm like, huh? Oh, okay.
All right. Is this number 3? I think this is number 3. Where's my focus? 15 minutes left. I can do it. Okay.
Oh, fiddlesticks. I'll be right back.
Mhm. Okay. Oop.
That was funny. She had found the little cloth I was using to wipe her face and decided to lay it on top of her face. I'm like, oh boy.
I mean, I guess that's better than eating it. Maybe? No.
Right? No, I'd be more worried about air supply.
Yeah, that's why I was like, maybe it's better than eating it. Like, maybe not. I don't know.
Right?
Depends
Yeah.
on how far she gets it down.
True. No, I'm still amused that I caught her trying to eat the pin earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, what? Wow, okay. Okay. Apparently this is a thing kids do. It shows a son and a daughter are arguing over a toy, and the dad comes in. You both lay claim to this toy? I'll cut it in half and give part of it to each of you. They are both like, "That's awesome!" And the dad's like, "That's not what this is meant to represent." He's making a spin off of an old Bible story.
Mm-hmm.
The kids don't get that, and they're just like, chop it, chop it, chop it.
Yep. Don't threaten if you're not going to follow through.
Fair.
Yep. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Ironically, that's the threats I get these days. I get threatened with a good time that I never actually get to experience.
Okay.
And ironically, I'm meaning that more literally, not in the crap, what's the word I'm looking for? Metaphorical sense.
Okay.
Because it's like, well, then why would you want to bring up that idea when we don't actually get to do it? Which is part of the reason why nowadays I'm craving going to a water park. Because it's like, maybe we could go there. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, we can't. I'm like, dang it.
Grab a friend, get going. Or set up a hose in the back of your yard.
We would have to get a hose first, but yeah, I can see what you mean. What was hilarious was when Jean first came here, my grandmother had gone out of town, so we were looking after her plants. And she had one of those sprinkler heads attached to the hose, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Jean couldn't figure out how to get it off, and so she just picked up the hose and aimed the sprinkler at the plants.
I have done that before.
I said, well, that's innovative, I guess.
Yeah, I have 100% done that before.
I mean, after she did it, I was like, okay, sure, I'll take advantage of a joke and play with it. It amusingly works.
It does. It works just fine.
That's not how it's supposed to work, but
Yeah. All right.
I can tell my eyes are getting bad when I saw a meme where it shows Washington on a horse and he's got a sword in his hand. But whoever drew the meme didn't draw the sword hilt in such a way that it was clearly visible. And so my screwed up eyes thought he was holding a wand. I was like, okay, this is hilarious. George Washington meets Harry Potter.
Oh god, that is not a crossover we need.
And then I looked, and then I looked more closely at it and I was like, oh, it's a sword. Yeah, no, that would be creepy.
Yeah.
Sad part is now I'm picturing Voldemort just sitting atop the Statue of Liberty. Avada Kedavra! Bam! Let's hope I don't get you struck with copyright for that.
Nah. I don't think words are so much an issue. I think like logos and the music is an issue.
I was gonna say, I usually get nailed for the music. What's hilarious is I attempted to do a Let's Play of Undertale recently, and long story short, YouTube slapped it with copyright, so I had to mute the audio, despite the fact that the creator himself of said audio has told YouTube, no, you let people use this. And YouTube basically said, yeah, screw you, pal.
Yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you let bots run things rather than actual humans.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing, right? Could you imagine having to hire enough humans to scan every video that goes up for copyright?
Yeah, I get why. It's just... Okay, going back to that honey conversation from earlier, apparently now there is a raw honey infused with espresso.
Yes.
Yes, please.
So my cousin, instead of putting sugar in his coffee, he uses either honey or maple syrup.
So do I.
Okay,
But I've never tried it with espresso
that's fair.
because typically when you're drinking espresso, it's a shot. You don't.
Mhm. Okay, one left. 5 minutes. I can do this.
Oh, right. Maybe it'd help if I actually put the actual link rather than the freaking Facebook link. Whoa, that's actually not bad. That's a good bargain. They're advertising it for $15 for a pound.
Okay. Um, I wonder how thin it is. Like, I wonder how thin down it is. Um,
Um, let's see. It says it can be used as a glaze, so by default
oh,
it's gonna be decent as
yeah,
far as thickness goes.
yep.
Because if you go too thin, you've almost, and I say almost because yeah, there are a few other factors necessary for this, but for lack of better term, you effectively would have a vinaigrette
Right.
if it was thin.
Mhm.
I love how it says it can be used to enhance tea.
Ew. Ew.
Because my brain says, wait a minute, coffee flavored tea?
Oh,
Huh?
it's disgusting. Have you ever went through like a McDonald's or somewhere like that where they use the same container to brew, or even at your house to like, have you ever put tea through your like water through your coffee pot to make tea?
No.
Okay,
But I
don't do
can
it.
get where you're going.
It's so rancid and disgusting.
Hmm. I personally think it would be, if I was going to do that, I would do the coffee first and then make a tea
Well,
rather than.
yeah, but like even if you just brew like even if you just put hot water through your coffee pot to make tea, the leftover coffee flavor, ooh, disgusting. And I love coffee. Obviously, I love coffee.
Right? Yeah,
Um,
bean.
and I do love tea, but like them together, absolutely disgusting.
It would have to be a very specific type of tea, I would think.
Why? Why?
Like, for example, I would never try that with oolong tea. It's way too grassy.
Yeah, like even just generic black tea is what I always used to drink.
Fair. Which, if I'm going to drink black tea, one of my all time favorites is what's called Irish Breakfast Blend.
Uh-huh.
It's like the English breakfast tea, but in my opinion, nothing against the English, because I have both English and Irish in me, among other things. But I just find the Irish one to be stronger in
Okay.
flavor. That's the best I can explain.
Mhm. Okay, I don't know what is happening with this, so we're just gonna. Oh, that's what's happening with this. It's a different kind of clay.
Hmm. Hmm?
I got a bump.
Okay,
No.
that's hilarious. We're talking about coffee, and Matt just sent me a meme about, quote, the first guy to ever drink coffee. Yeah.
Okay.
I do still find it amusing that I posted about what happens if you take coffee and brew it like you would tea. And I can't remember if it was you or somebody else commented, yeah, that's effectively just making cold brew.
Uh-huh. Yep, that was me.
And I
Yep.
was just like, oh, well, that makes sense. And I will say, for what it's worth, I have plenty of espresso roast, so I could make cold brew espresso, which, according to my research, would be one of the highest concentrations of caffeine as far as coffee goes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the funny part is, I have to look it up again to get the exact details, but I recently discovered why there is more caffeine when you do cold brew as opposed to traditional. Well, okay, traditional may not be the right word, because traditional for one may be different for others.
Well, the reason light roast has more caffeine than dark roast is because caffeine burns off. So I'm
Yes.
going to make the assumption that if you're not burning it off in the coffee pot, cold brew has more caffeine. But that is just an assumption.
I mean, I have dark roast espresso and I have dark roast cold brew, so it's like I tried light roasts. I will drink them if they are what's available, but I find their flavor to be, how do I say this? Too floral.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. Yep.
Ironically, that's why I can't do medium roasts anymore. I've gotten so used to dark roast that I tried a medium roast from Hawaii, of all places, and I was like, what the crap is this?
All right, we're going to do one more. I should be done. Gary's already went up to start dinner. I'm going to do one more.
Okay, I'm going to share that and view it later. Because if I view it now, it'll get picked up on the microphone. And that could get you copyright struck because it was a music video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it has me curious because she looks like she is playing a dulcimer like a piano. Which, I mean, I know there's such a thing as a hammered dulcimer, but that's different than using your fingers.
Okay, this is going to be a smaller one. Because I have extra clay, so I'm just going to do it real quick.
Or at least I think it's a dulcimer. I'm not sure what this is. Huh.
Okay. Okay. And that is the last one for the day. 7 instead of 6. That works. And then I have to remember to turn off the dehumidifier, because normally I put a dowling in front of the dehumidifier so that when I go to use the sink to clean up for the day, I have to move the dowling, which is leaned up against the dehumidifier.
Mm-hmm. What's a dowling?
It is a circular piece of wood. It is
Okay.
one of
That
those.
is
Dowel.
Oh, you're showing me on the YouTube video.
I am.
That means it'll take a second for me to see it.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, like a dowel rod.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Excuse me? Okay, so I clicked on a link not realizing what it was.
Oh, never do that.
No, this was good. It showed candy. When I click on the link, it pops up what's it calls a dark scotch mallow.
Oh, that actually sounds good.
Yeah, it says layers of buttery caramel or caramel, depending on where you're from, and honey marshmallow wrapped in decadent dark chocolate. You can get a pound of them for $34.
Okay.
Which, from the looks of things, means 21 pieces. Which means, rough math, estimate around 70 cents a piece, give or take.
It depends on how much shipping is.
I mean, fair. But yes, this sounds amazing. I'm going to bookmark this for when I have money. Unfortunately, I have already spent this month's budget, and so now I'm trying to live off what I have purchased.
Those are the types of things that I just don't budget for. There is no money in the budget for that.
Oh, I see what you mean. I was like, but it's food.
Yeah, but it's not really.
Yeah, no, you're talking about budgeting for treats. That makes sense.
Oh no, yeah, we don't budget for that. We just don't buy those. We don't buy treats.
Now, in my case, it would literally be a situation where I want to try it just to say that I have, more so than... Yeah. No. My budget for food, ironically, is one of those where it's like... It's more than I'm used to, thanks to a little finagling by my wife, because she is much better with money than I am. But at the same time, paradoxically, it's not, at least based on what I'm looking for, enough to get what I need.
I typically plan on 125 a week for groceries and try for 100.
Yeah, which I am currently limited to 75.
And do you guys eat out at all?
On occasion, but it depends on the circumstance. And it also depends on who's paying.
Oh yeah, we always pay. So.
Well, no, I mean, like, whether it's coming out of my money allotment or hers.
Oh, yeah, we don't have that.
We shouldn't, in my opinion, but he's just as stubborn as I am. That's
fair.
I will be right back. I hear Lily.
Honestly, I'm going to be getting offline because I am late for starting dinner.
That's fair.
So have a great evening. Actually, I'll see you later at game.
I was gonna say I'll see you in about 2 hours.
Yep.
Take care.
Have fun. So I'm down to 2 buckets of really dry reclaim and a board of semi-soft reclaim. I'm going to turn off the dehumidifier tonight because I don't want that getting too hard. But that is what I'm going to reclaim tomorrow to be able to throw tomorrow. So I'm going to take this bucket that I was throwing with, and I'm going to layer it on top of some of these broken pieces, really dry bowls, etc. And this will be my next slop bucket that I will plan on doing reclaim for. I don't normally let my reclaim get this out of control, but with the yarn bowls, I had a bunch of yarn bowls at the end that I just didn't like and or broke when I was trying to clean them up a little bit. So I have a little bit more extra reclaim than I'm used to. And I use a bucket system in my sink where I rinse my hands in a bucket of water, and then I wash my hands so that the clay doesn't go down into the pipes. And then this bucket does not go to reclaim because glaze gets in here. Both the 06 clay and the cone 6 clay get in this bucket. So because it's all mixed, I don't reclaim this. This will get thrown out once it gets like half full or so. But yeah, so now I'm going to go make dinner, and tomorrow I will reclaim all of this clay, and then I will all of the clay that's on the board here. I'll clean up the ones that I threw today, put them off to the side, and I'll throw 12 more tomorrow. Actually, I may actually throw more because I think I've done enough of the big ones now. I think I can start making a bunch of smaller ones of the cookies. So I may actually make a bunch of cookies tomorrow that just fit on these square bats. And if I can finish these tomorrow, then in a couple of days I can get them in the kiln. I'll force them through drying, which isn't good. Don't do that. You'll have stuff crack. But again, because they're cookies and they're not real pieces, if they crack a little bit, I'm not really concerned. But yeah, thanks so much for following along, and tomorrow will be trees and cookies. Cookies and trees? Maybe I'll get some yarn bowls thrown in. We'll see. I'll try. Have fun. Have a